welcome back to Scream Queen Stream. Y'all know me, I'm Jessica Cameron. You might recognize my friends. I have here joining me in the pool, but we're going to pretend it's a hot tub, the wonderful and talented Tristan Clay and Destiny Orndoff. You might recognize them from the independent film scene. They just shot their second film. Stay tuned for more information on that. I will link their socials down below so that you can follow them on their filmmaking journey. And you also might have seen the film that I had a small role in called Red Eye, also starring Miss Heather Dorff. So today we're going to be talking about the movie 47 Meters Down, which is a 2017 survival film directed by Johannes Roberts, written by Roberts and Ernest Riera, and starring Claire Holt and Mandy Moore. The plot follows two sisters who are invited to cage dive to see sharks while on a holiday in Mexico. So we do have like the sequel coming out shortly, which I don't really know if it's like a direct sequel or not. I didn't really look into that much. I was just, content to watch this. This was a movie that you had suggested, Tristan.
Yes.
So really quickly, let's talk about the cast. The only one I recognized was Mandy Moore. I really do like Mandy Moore. I think she's a really great actress.
I love her. Yeah.
So for me, do we need more cast, like recognizable cast? No. She was great.
Yeah.
So what worked?
I'd say the shark. The shark looked really realistic to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't obvious CGI.
Because even in films like The Shallows, you can tell that the shark isn't actually a shark and they're using some CGI with it and stuff. But this one, there wasn't one shot that I could tell CGI was used.
Really
it looked so realistic. That was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
I would agree, and I think again, like when you make a shark movie, if the shark doesn't work, it's a big mess.
It is, yeah.
For me.
That's your...
Like, unless it's like Sharknado.
Yeah.
At which point you're like, those aren't fucking sharks. It's fine. I also really love the casting. I really believed Mandy Moore and Claire were sisters.
Yeah.
They had that kind of shorthand. They had that connection. They had that chemistry, and I really, really, really believed it. I also really thought the plot worked well. Again, this isn't like an overly complicated, detailed plot.
No.
It's really simple. Two sisters bonding, go to Mexico. A little bit of time is spent just like showing the fact that they're sisters in clothes, and then they're like, let's go cage diving, where everything goes horribly awry. By the way, this review will contain spoilers, like all of our reviews do, so note that. So again, I thought short, tight plot worked really, really effectively. Okay, I also felt that overall, they made being underwater really interesting.
Yes.
Right? It kind of like sometimes I have, as a filmmaker, you're kind of like when you hear some thoughts. For me, I'm like, ooh, how is that going to work?
Just yeah.
Right? Because I was like, this is not like, you're under the water for most of this movie.
Yeah.
You are submerged. How do you make that interesting? And I think they really did. They also lit it really cool where it was believable, but you could still see everything, which I think is a fine line. I suspect in real life it's dark down at the bottom of the ocean. So they did light it, obviously, to make it cinematic, but I thought it worked really, really well. Where it felt believable, it felt real, but you could still see everything. And it really added to the tension of the film. Obviously, this is like a bigger budget movie, so it's all done very, very well. Like the sound design, the score, they had Mandy Moore.
Another thing that worked for me, I felt, is I just felt really claustrophobic.
Yeah,
like being under the water and not having air, like that was constantly freaking me out the whole time.
And her just swimming into the black, like that was terrifying. I hate the dark, so not knowing what's there and then just having.
And can you imagine like endless darks? Endless darkness. And you can't flip a light switch. There's nothing you can do.
There's nothing.
I also felt like so I am diver certified, but I haven't done it in years. And I thought that they shared the important aspects of diving with the public in a very consumable way. So like they didn't get into the technicality, but they made it clear like, hey, you can't ascend too quickly because you'll get oxygen bubbles in your brain and die. And that's a very real problem. But I thought they handled it in a way that somebody who's not diver certified would understand. And I'm assuming you guys both understood it, and I'm also assuming you're not diver certified.
No. But yeah, it gave us a general understanding of like all the rules and like if you, like you said.
Like you can't go down too quick either. Yeah.
And like also I did realize that they softened the specifics for like scuba divers, because I also was hearing from someone that, and correct me if I'm wrong, you might know this, if you go down quickly, especially 47 meters, your ears would start bleeding because it would pop Is that correct?
I'm honestly not sure. I've
I've
not been diver certified for. I'm sorry, I have been diver certified, but I haven't done it in years.
Gotcha.
So I've said like, hey, if I want to do what I'm going to do, I have to take a refresher course. I just remember they talked at length about like necrosis and like the air bubbles to the brain. So I'm not sure about ears bleeding.
Yeah.
I know that like just basically you have to be really careful. Which also to me it's like funny how it's like they're in Mexico. But I also bought that. Like, I thought the plot line worked. Like, I believe that these were two girls who wouldn't overthink it and just would be like, yeah, that's a really cool thing to do. So don't ever do that. Like, you should be certified to go in the water that deep. Like, you just need to be, period. Because, again, it is a very real danger.
Yeah.
What else worked?
I think they did a really good job of just keeping you interested the whole movie when, like you said, it was just in one spot
just one.
most of the time. The air gave me a lot of anxiety just because of like claustrophobia, and then the shark, and then the darkness, just all the aspects they added when they're in that like one spot just really worked for me and kept me interested the whole movie.
Yeah.
Agreed. And I think the effects were really well done. Like in all the blood and gore, and I can only imagine how difficult that is when you're submerged in water.
Yeah.
Right? And it was really, really, really well done. Like, not just the shark effects, but also, like, any of the blood and the gore. That worked for you. Like, overall, for me, like, this movie just worked. It was very clever, very well done.
Yeah. The twist. I feel... I've heard from so many people that the twist, because I talked to them about this film, like, with anyone, but I've heard that they saw it coming because they were like, oh, you know, they said the ending. Yeah, they said, like, you could hallucinate. So, yeah. So, I didn't. But to me, like, I was so engaged. Yeah, I didn't think about it. So for me, the twist worked, and I think the twist is what put the cherry on top for me for the film.
Yeah.
So I really like the ending.
I didn't see that coming either. I was like, oh my gosh.
I was too worried about the sharks and them, you know, to even think about, oh, you know, she's going up for air, so get up there, and then boom. I thought it was just really impressive that the movie was so tight and moved so well, right? Because again, limited place, limited, you know, we know what's going on. We know it's a shark movie. We know they get trapped down below. These are all facts that we know in advance. But the fact that it like just kept going so well paced, I think is a testament to the director and the team involved. I absolutely love the director too. I want to mention that. He went to do The Strangers 2, Pray at Night, and the sequel to 47 Meters Down, which is not, I don't think it's a direct sequel. It's just like a new group of girls go on a vacation kind of thing. So is there anything that didn't work? For me, I would just say, even though it didn't bother me too much, but it was very easy. It was arguably too easy to get these two girls to go cage diving in Mexico. Like, they just meet these guys. They don't know them. They're like, let's do this thing. It's high risk. You don't know them. I'm like, anything could have happened. Like, they could have, like, sold you into slavery. They could have drugged you. Like, anything could have happened.
That's honestly the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Okay, so I also mentioned the ending. So I liked it, but I could see how others would not. Yeah. So you guys touched on it earlier as well, because there was actually two endings for 47 Meters Down. So like the one's like a fake out, and that's not what really happened. And then you find out that, you know, unfortunately, Mandy's sister died. The other thing that was a little bit tricky for me was like sometimes the masks and the wardrobe made it difficult to see the actors and feel for them. There's definitely like a bit of an emotional disconnect at times, just by way of a lot of the time they were just these sort of shapes, and the acting was solely based upon their voice because you couldn't really see anything. Keep in mind, I also like upon watching it a third time, I wanted to see if I could spot where it wasn't like Mandy Moore, and there's a lot of times where just it could be, it couldn't be, we don't know. We hear it's Mandy Moore, but like you see like just a sliver the side of her face where I was like, that could be anyone, because she's again wearing a mask and how it's shot and her body's fully covered in a suit and it's like dark underwater, where I'm like, that being said, I do think that should go in the plus column for the actors, because again, their voice performances were really, really powerful and very, very well done. I also like had a panic attack thinking about the difficulties of shooting a film entirely underwater. Can we take a moment to think about that? Like, holy crap. As an actor, as a filmmaker, like, that is insane.
I couldn't even imagine having a camera down there, like being the camera guy, like,
be crazy.
I had another complaint, actually. The voice on the other end sounded very American to me.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was very American sounding and very clear. I was like, that boat is janky AF. I don't believe they have like these high quality radios
Yeah.
to like, no. So I felt like that was almost like overly too produced,
Yeah.
right? If I wanted to get nitpicky. So, and then also I didn't buy the dropping of the flare towards the end. It just felt like it looked like they had it and then they're just, oh yeah, drop it.
Yeah. It was kind of just like, oh, oops.
You're like, we need to
Nothing
drop this for the
kicked it
plot
out.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it could have just been editing or like how it was shot. Either way,
I'll say that was my favorite visual scene when it was dark and then the flare just lit them up. I was like, kind of made me jump a little bit. I like that a lot.
and they're like surrounded by these horrible
Yeah.
sharks. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So questions, comments, concerns.
I'm excited to see where the new one takes it.
I am too. Yeah, because they film the director's films with such teenage appeal, and then when you see them, it just has such more than that. So I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm excited to see where it's going to take us. But right now, it's marketed as like, oh, these young teenagers go out to this resort, and then they just are in a bunch of shark land. I don't know, but I'm concerned and excited at the same time for the sequel. But as this film as a whole, I'm super excited, or super happy with it, and was super excited. I've seen it probably about 4 times already. Not kidding. I saw it twice in theater, so I love it.
Now, would you recommend this movie to others?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would. It was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
So would I. I think it's
Fun
really,
shark film.
really fun. It is. I'm
Yeah.
glad that Mandy Moore is kind of getting credit. I've always felt she was a good actress. And I know she went through that phase where she was just like the popular stereotypical teenager actress.
Yeah.
But even then I thought she was still good. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the roles were like that detailed or that specific, but she was good in them.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that now, like, as she's gotten older, I feel like she's finally getting the credit that she deserves. I would love to see her do more genre stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I would.
I know that Johannes Roberts, the director, has referenced how he doesn't like to cast like horror people per se in horror movies. He likes to
Yeah.
cast like mainstream people,
Yeah.
which is also why he cast what's her name? Hendricks, the redhead.
Oh,
Is
from
it Catherine
Strangers, yeah.
Hendricks?
It's something.
Christina Hendricks.
And Bailey
in
Madison
Strangers.
too.
And,
She was from a bunch of Hallmark movies,
Yeah.
and she was the final girl.
and Disney.
Yeah.
So I also really like that movie.
Yeah,
It's a
that
fun
movie's
flick.
fun.
So good.
And like the pool scene,
Yeah. That was
so
God, gave
beautifully shot.
that song a whole new meaning.
Right? It was so good with like the day glow lighting.
Yes, I loved it so much.
Awesome. Now, where can people find out more information about you both?
You can follow Deranged Minds Entertainment on Facebook and Instagram at Deranged Minds Entertainment, and on Twitter at 2DerangedMinds, and you can find me on Instagram at LivingDeadGirl_97.
And you can find me under anything Tristan Clay.
And I will link them both down below. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank
Don't
you.
forget to hit the like button down below and also subscribe. We produce new videos over here on this channel, all about indie, all about horror, all the time. So definitely stay tuned for that. And 10 million bonus points if you join the Patreon, where you can get signed swag, early access to videos, and a bunch of other stuff for as little as $1 a month. It really helps us keep the channel alive. Editing, shooting takes some freaking time. Anyways, thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.